Onto the second pace of picking. Okay.
Not sure if you wanted to pick Fredrin right there. It's two it's two sides. Whether you want to reveal jungle last or you want to reveal position of the Faramis last. So NXPE, they're still hiding the fact that the Faramis can be picked up as a support or a roam, but that does give Smart Omega the option to counter this Fredrin. And the thing is, there have been a lot of answers versus this insane jungler, like the Akai from Sensui, even the Grok, by the way. Both came from Sensui. It's a good hero to answer the insane presence of Fredrin during the Lord takes, because you do have that CC immunity, and you also get the chance to just out-damage Fredrin during the the Lord takes. But they go back to the Lancelot, the Tanksalot of Ryzen. One of their favorites, works as well against the Fredrin because you don't mind playing into the taunts. And you go back to the Franco. So it's not a flex promise role.
Yeah.
But I would have preferred to to pick a Fredrin last, because you would have wanted a better jungle matchup.
Better jungle matchup, in this case, I feel like it's just let Boyette dominate the objectives if he can, right? Because that's actually something we've seen him do before. And even as we take a look at the talent predictions here, we've got OSX for NXPE.
Again.
Yeah.
The sole believer.
Yeah, the believer. But that's okay, because we all voted for Echo yesterday, and look what happened with TNC, right? So
who would have thought that happened?
Who would have thought? But it's great. It's great for the seasons. Great for the regular season here. Now, my point with this is, with NXPE specifically, Fredrin, I'm expecting them to really hone down on the objectives with the lineup that they have and kind of play through that.
Well, speaking of doing things around in this game, watch out for the smart power prediction. At some point in the game, a poll will show up, and you only have until the timer runs out. So comment your prediction with the hashtag power of smart. One lucky person gets it correctly will win a redeemable in-game code. Remember, keep an eye on the poll. The ways of Nexplay Evos right now is about to show up against Smart Omega. They 2-0'd, and now will they have a comeback? There's one thing that they're going to ponder upon. This is the fight that we're looking for, because Naisu, you've mentioned that into the playoffs health, into the playoffs standings. At week 7, we don't know who's going to go up in that 6 slots, and this is just amazing to see.
Yeah, we got, 3 more slots to go here, right? Couple differences that I'm noticing too, and maybe Midnight you can expound on this. Brusco is playing with a different emblem here that we saw work so well for Ben Things when he likes to play with that focusing mark on the Franco.
Yeah.
And we were kind of talking about that. And also Ding, right? He's opting not to play Tenacity a lot here.
Yeah, I love the fact that Brusco is going with PYT, more flickers, more mobility on the map, and more catch potential for NXPE. Because with other emblems, you might say that it is a more potent Franco on the early game, but if you're going to play with a Gold Dane and you're just waiting for the objective fights, and then you think that, okay, catch is more functional, so lesser cooldowns means more activity for the Franco for the mid game. So it's kind of sacrificing early game viability of the Franco for the insurance that you have more functions with the hero come the later stages of the game.
Yeah, activities and functions. You want that perfect hook if you're a Franco. We've seen good Franco games, and this enables. This could be an enablement for Doming DR, because we're talking about how the carry would survive in the power spike composition of Omega, because there's a lot of burst.
Yeah. With Ding DR's emblem choice, however, on Bendigul, there is some form of experiment going on to choose whatever perfect emblem is for the Arlet. But Renzio, though...
Oh, Renzio could be in trouble here. First blood going over to Ding, as you were just talking about him. But the turtle secured by Ryzen. Now the battle in the river ensues. Miko in trouble. Going to fall to Yelly Haze here. So NXPE picking up 2 kills. They give up the turtle. Looks like it was worth it.
Yeah, and that's how they see of putting up most of their amplifications. Look at that. Yelly Haze. Close.
One hit. Oh, man, that's satisfying. Every time, you're playing, especially in the mid lane, it's 1 hit away, and you get that kill.
And Yelly Haze was not expecting that. After, he's a Farsa player, and with experience, he knows for a fact that after Farsa has been able to clear the way, Farsas usually just fly away, go to other lanes. But Stone was like, nah, I'm killing you.
Just how they become aggressive up against Helix, that we know is one of the amazing users of this hero, the Farsa. So, in that point that they're trying to get burst damage, I say they're pushing NXPE to go back in their lane, just as this.
Yeah, they might I mean, he has backup. Brusco's here, but you can see already the call coming through. This might turn into a hold-on fight here early on. Bottom side, Brusco is deleted off the map here. And some covering fire goes down from Calrun. They back off.
Not entirely sure what NXPE was looking for on that play. And Calrun just was able to get a lot of XP out of that skirmish, and that will propel him to better timing in the early stages of the game. And that means lesser farming time for Doming DR. So NXPE, they have to make space, they have to make plays on the map, because if they don't, you know, Smart Omega will just pull ahead, especially with this Lancelot and Kaja always together during those skirmishes. They always want to try and look for pickoffs, because the thing is, yes, even though you're playing into a carry, your mid-game spike is much better compared to NXPE. So you're kind of willing to wait for things to settle down, and if nothing is happening, as long as you're removing the playing capability of NXPE, you're fine, because mid-game, after Keller has been activated, it is going to become a problem for NXP to deal with.
So we can either say that Brusco needs to have a double time on how they would want to have this coverage to protect the situation of amping the carry in the mid-game, because right now they're really risking everything to get the second objective.
Yeah, they don't want to give this one up, so they're going to kind of assert dominance here in that turtle pit. There's not really much entry at all.
Yeah, but a top lane,
Omega. Yeah, but they're trading it objectively top side.
Yeah, you were talking about space, Midnight. Keller is up top.
Yeah, this is, you know, classic Smart Omega. Like, they give out objectives for the sole purpose of allowing Kelra to just propel towards that proper timing. And NXPE, yes, you did secure Turtle. It took 5 heroes though, and Smart Omega saw that. And that's not gonna boost the, that's not gonna boost the game of carry per se, but it essentially at least allows them to have lesser time in terms of farming for the late game. But again, Smart Omega, they just took a lot of gold on Keller on the top lane.
Well, it's all about the gold lanes, right? We're seeing the items on how they progress in these two teams. So right now, we're looking for damage for the side of NXP, because at some parts, they can sustain the game.
What the hell is
it's
this build from Keldra?
Steel leg plates right onto NXPE.
Yeah, Keldra is not building boots this game. He doesn't want mobility. He wants farm. He wants damage. And
he wants damage.
Yeah, he wants damage.
I was about to say big damn, but he's not there yet.
Well, we might just be seeing it in a short few minutes, because Smart Omega, they're hitting the timings right, and I love this because some teams would rather fight like crazy against a carry, and the dangerous part about that is if carry gets a little bit of momentum in the early game, you know, the late game will come much faster. So Smart Omega, they're being patient with their timings. They're farming up the resources that they need. Come such a time wherein they need to fight NXPE, they're at full firepower.
So right now, they need to have good trades on how they would want to wait for Dom and DR to activate.
Oh,
look at that!
Brusco going in with a flicker bloody hunt, and they look on the target. It's Renzio though, but he's still alive, and now NXPE gets punished. They get the flicker out from Yellyhay, still on the hunt here. Ryzen now in perfect timing. The turtle's going to spawn.
Yeah.
Looks like they're just going to go ahead and grab a turret, possibly plus an objective. NXP needs to contest this. Turret does go down. Bottom side, tier 1, Boyet and Ryzen facing off for the turtle dance. Everybody in place. Nothing. Boyet, though. Stolen from the noses of Omega. So they grab another objective here.
To be able to insert that retribution onto insane damage out of Smart Omega. They're not done yet.
Nice final slash. Ding goes under the turret. Domain grabbing the kill, though. Nice setup there also from Ding. That's the power of the final slash.
Yeah. I was about to say that Smart Omega took everything away from NXPE, but Boyd DR, again, with his unspoken rule, if you start Turtle, I'm going to take it. And NXPE, after that initial Turtle steal, he went back to mid lane. Yellyhays.
Okay, they get the Cold Ulter out.
Ryzen.
Dragging the Stampede a little bit, but should not be able to get a kill here. Nice dodge. Thorn Rose able to get out of that. Appraiser's Wrath, the hook, too.
Man.
Not going to land there. So, avoiding a lot here, Ryzen, but as you were saying, Midnight, things are falling into place here for Omega, but NXP is counterpunching back when they can.
Yeah, Ding with the final slash on Kelra, catching the Beatrix off guard. And again, this allows NXP to just have this massive space in the mid game. And boy,
Oh man, they still. There's a lot of this back and forth between these two, but you can see how much they're centering around, these lanes, especially as we get geared up for that first Lord that's going to be spawning. We know how important those Tier 1 turrets are.
Well, speaking of Tier 1 turrets, we're looking for how NXPE approaches these fights. Oh, they spotted one.
Still going to be going Stome. Can he fly out? He can't. Gets locked down and taken down.
I like this.
Mid-game, doming on a 2-0. This is a spike that we're talking about, Midnight.
Yeah, and again, NXPE, even though they have a carry, these plays are so damn decisive. Like, whenever they see here, even Boyet committed the retribution there just to make sure that the kill will pull through. And this is the commitment that we were looking for from NXPE. The fact of the matter is they have such insanely talented players. They're able to execute. It's just that you have to translate that towards the game. And NXPE at the moment, even though they have a carry, they know that their heroes are strong. So whenever they see a hero on the side of Smart Omega, they fully commit.
Oh, look at that commitment.
Gonna get checked here. You did get pulled. Brusco goes in with a flicker, but he's gonna get pulled by the Divine Judgment. Separated from his team. He falls under the turret, still going. Deming alive. Finds Renzio. They're still clashing in the mid lane. Back and forth they go. Ryzen on the hunt. Finds Domeng when he was trying to go back. Punishes him there. And now Lord is up. Smart Omega still holding on. Look at the damage. Yelly Haze is trouble. The burn is too much from Stome. And now it's a green light to start up the Lord here. They still got to approach this carefully. They know Boyet's ready.
My gosh. Omega strikes back in those moments and windows of mistakes that NXP just committed. Don't get me wrong, they had all the chances to hold, but the pull on how Renzio put them on the other side of that rock. Look at the pull! Brusco!
Hook and land. Brusco, massive. Finds Stome. Now down a member. Still Lord going to be juggled around here. Boyet and Ryzen, less than half health. NXP with a numbers advantage. Looking for it. There's the Divine Judgment. They do find Ding. Final slashes away. Ryzen trying to buy time. Gets knocked up by Boyet. Lord still going to be worked on. Comes down. Goes in the hands of Boyet. Still going as Ryzen will fall.
Wow, insane retribution timings coming out from the Fredrin. Smart Omega, even though they are punching back, yes, that's the strength of their lineup is showing. It's much stronger against NXP during the mid-game. But man, the decisive plays coming out from NXP. Ding's committal onto the back line allowed NXP to fight essentially two team fights there. Two skirmishes wherein Smart Omega was trying to deal with Stone first. NXP, however, was zoning out the Beatrix on the back line, and that allowed Boyd DR to have this undivided attention towards the Lord, wherein on contrast, you had Ryzen. He had to use Puncture so many times. He had to use Phantom Execution just to be able to move in and move out of this fight. But Boyd DR was just waiting for the HP of the Lord, and Retribution was, was put in there. Very good timing, and that secures this lead by NXP. And mind you, they still have the carry.
You got it, man. The mid-game powers, like it's all about Dom and DR having a 4 kills against Omega. This is just purely NXPE was knocking onto the base. Look at the gold. We have Rising on 1, a player from NXPE, Doming against Ryzen in this match.
Yeah, just great performance so far. NXP able to pretty much swap things around even when Omega had the lead that they had. But still, as they work around this first Lord that they grab, Demolition Man, Domeng, man, he is able to buy so much space for NXPE. So, it's given that they're going to lose these turrets leading in the base. Omega holds on to the inhibitors. So, as we get prepped up for that next Lord, and whichever team takes that, they got to be careful not to get picked off by Brusco, because the man has been landing hooks left and right and getting that advantage for NXPE.
Yeah, speaking about Franco games since yesterday, it's a Franco week for everybody, and for all the tank users out there. Go ahead and enjoy your day on how these players manage to land their hooks correctly, because right now Omega in their lineup, once Miko's pick-off from the ultimate of Akaji is gone, everything can be miscalculated for Omega to have a counterattack.
Yeah, and the thing about Franco is that it kind of pseudo acts like a secondary Kaja, with the exception of being able to move back when you when you use the crowd control. But the thing is, the fights go awkwardly for both sides, But for Smart Omega, it's kind of hard because Renzio on Joy is trying to do what Ding is doing for NXPE. But the fact of the matter is, Ding has a crowd control ability. Compare that to a Joy, wherein Renzio just stands on the back line. And the problem is NXPE, if they don't look at the Joy, and if they don't see him as a target, You can't do that. You can't do the same for Smart Omega. Like, this Arlot is a big problem. Unlike with NXPE, they can play the fights, even not caring about the joy. For Smart Omega, they have to care about the fact that Ding DR is always setting up onto the Matrix.
Man, the Arnold was the first heroes that Omega used in MPL Philippines regular season 11. And now, again, we discussed about the draft. They're like being in the red side. Now it's a different thing that how we're managing to see how this hero manages to break momentum, especially for Omega. Once that second or window is gone, the counter punch of Nexplay can really show in terms of damage. And all of this, I'm seeing 2 immortalities present for Nexplay EVOS.
Not only that, but they also can play around the Cult Altar here. So that's something that they have to be conscious of if you're Omega. Renzio's going to have his work cut out for him as well as he tries to zip around and get to the back lane once this fight breaks out.
Yeah, that's a very good point that you brought out. We haven't even seen NXPE fully capitalize on the fact that they have Cult Altar yet. It was just this immense damage output coming out from Doming DR with the space that he gets during the fight. Brusco though.
Okay, Brusco.
With a tongue!
Try to get Stone. Not going to be able to find the connection, but they flicker in. Praise's Wrath comes down too. Stone falls in. Ding goes in the back line. Final slashes. He's going to get pulled with the Divine Judgment. It buys time though. Cutting off Kelra from the team. Everybody else still going here. Domeng's still alive. Whoa. Flickers out. It's Kelra and Miko versus 4. They're quite low though. Kelra, can he pull it off? Shoots he gets hooked and Domeng gets the kill. Miko left alive. NXPE again with a massive team fight.
What a wonderful sequence for NXP. Again, Ding with a backline access towards the Matrix allows more fighting time for NXP. Even though Doming DR almost came close to dying from Ryzen, Smart Omega, they didn't have the chance to fight on their own terms. Beatrix was trying to deal with Ding for the longest time, and they didn't have enough damage to deal with the carry on that skirmish. Again, it's essentially 2 fights that Smart Omega has been dealing with.
2 fights in these 2 teams. Ding was the sacrificial lamb on how he divided Omega. Look at that. Look at the progress. Look at the items right now of this carry.
Pal Domeng.
I think we can say this again on the English desk. Domeng Nation.
Domeng Nation.
Yeah.
Back up and online.
Yep. It's that's massive. It's a massive lead that he just has overall in terms of farm that he has.
I was going to say, if he ever plays Melissa and he has this amount of gold, it's Domeng expansion.
There it is.
Right.
I get it.
Let's go.
It's a JJK reference.
Yeah.
I get it. Yep.
Let's go.
I get it. You don't have to explain to me.
No, I mean, I'm explaining it to the audience. Some people would not understand.
But it's true, right? Space will listen all of that expansion.
Expansion, what?
Yeah.
What was that Doming expansion? Well, watch JJK.
Now you know.
and to look back on how Doming is managing to be dominant against Smart Omega, this is good news on how they want to take this game. Look at that. Ryzen is trying to spot 1.
Yeah, he's going to buy time. The final slash does come through. There's the lockdown to Ryzen in trouble. Going to fall in the mid lane. They're down their jungler. Omega still holds on a little bit longer. Conceal play going to be committed to. Still eyes set on the prize. Mid-turret inhibitor. Couple hits away. Not going to fall, though. They hold on. They just got to dodge these hooks again from Brusco.
Yeah, again, the commitment of NXPE. I'm pretty sure Brusco was spamming the hell out of pressing that button. And he was able to land that stun onto the Lancelot. And Ryzen, the longest time we haven't seen him,
Okay, they're going to pull Boyet. Still have the immortality. Should be able to get the kill here. Can't get away. Kelra grabs the kill. They get a flicker around from Brusco. Domeng taking a couple shots himself. But there's a response from Omega.
Okay, no jungler from NXP. I think they're now looking for those viable targets. Smart Omega is looking for something that they can utilize because look at the AoE of Storm, right? Although they have fallen short on the time, but having this alternate ultra late game, they have this condition that, hey, we can't just count out the barangay.
Yeah. There is that Divine Glaive coming up from Stone, so damage is really massive on the side of Smart Omega, especially with having a bitch in Barza, you know, the Ren's Apathy onto the Feathered Airstrike. Purified though, committed by Stone as the hook landed from Brusco DR. So it is kind of an awkward situation for both sides because they're both waiting for spells to be thrown out, but the you know, the advantage is gearing towards NXPE, especially with this kind of playstyle wherein they don't really care if they misplay or not, because Brusco has been phenomenal in this Franco.
Yeah, he's going to be looking for another pick here. Gonna dodge that Iron Hook, not going to connect. So they back off for now. Feathered Airstrike committed though. Jelly Haze getting quite low, holding on here.
There's that damage from the Barca.
Yeah, it's there. So all this, you know, leading up to this Lord now, both teams committing a couple spells and resources here. So we'll see how this all settles in for this next Lord take.
You were talking about how these two teams are waiting for NXP. They don't need to wait. That was one of the mistakes they committed in their matches. That hesitation factor, that they have all the gears to even go for a winning shift in this match. And if they keep on doing that, that was one thing that we can look after. But also, they need to respect the fact that they can be bursted down. In the bush, Renzio at spot 1, but they're trying to pull the Lord onto their side. Boy, DR. Trying to spam it down.
This is awkward for Smart Omega. Nobody is willing to just go near NXPE. And, you know, you ask yourself, it's usually the job of the Kaja to just sit around and look for the Franco, but the threat of the burst damage is there. So Miko hasn't been really confident to just, you know, look for Brusco DR during these fights. And that allows NXPE to have this fantastic time wherein they know for a fact that Omega will just be scared whenever they see the Franco.
Oh, the flicker win in. Still going to be committed. Lord is secured by Ryzen. Able to grab it. There's a final slash from Ding. Unleashing on Omega. Kelra has to flicker out. Boyet not going to be able to chase him down. Gets punished and falls. So amidst it all, Omega grabs the Lord here. And NXPE loses Boyet.
Man, I just gotta say, the isolation play of Renzio, going back into the fight, he divided the damage of NXPE, putting Doming away out of the battlefield.
Yeah, and see, this is why science cannot explain as to how Smart Omega has been winning, right? NXPE, they committed into a fight wherein they caught almost 4 heroes on the side of Smart Omega. Nobody died, Ryzen was able to get the Lord, and Kelra killed off Void DR. Like, you would need to watch that fight 10 times before you understand as to what happened. Oh, Miko though.
Death Bush there, the setup. They do get Miko. They get a lot of return fire though, back from Stone. So NXP, they find a kill, but they're going to lose some of these turrets. They got to deal with this Lord here too. And we'll see if they're actually able to defend the way that Omega has in the past minutes here.
Okay, let's see how Nexplay could manage to hold the line, but how Omega is just taking down turret after turret.
They have to be careful. The round 2 of the Lord.
They need to respect this.
Yeah, remember the Lord bump, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't go on cooldown anymore. Like
charge.
Every turret, the Lord charge. Every turret it sees, he's gonna be bumping into that. So for NXP, if they get, I mean, for a lot of the teams, if you see the Lord and you see 2 turrets, you have to defend at least the second one. You know.
Yeah. And this tests NXPE to be onto positioning, because at some points that Omega would want to take this game back on their side, they keep on doing the flicker combo that Miku does, and it works!
The thing about that is, like what Midnight was saying earlier, it's usually, when you have the Kanja, you usually expect it to initiate a lot, but there's a certain hesitation, but it's also because Miko is thinking sometimes he has to peel as well. Because if those hooks do land, or if they find the own initiation from NXPE, they need a chance. There you go. This time he's aggressive. He's going to find Ding here. Mortality popped, and everybody getting hit with this feathered airstrike. Ding not going to be able to escape. Phantom execution from Ryzen, finding the kill. So that time, Omega gave the go signal by Miko.
Yeah, and they found the right target, by the way. They committed onto Ding, which allows Smart Omega to finally have this single-minded team fight wherein you just have to chase the gold laner of NXPE. And that is what Renzio and Ryzen did. They saw 4 heroes on the back line. Ding was already dead. Immortality has been popped off. And you have this team fight wherein for Smart Omega, all you need to do is just chase NXPE.
Go. Speaking of chase, did he go?
Oh, Miko! He's going to drag Brusco here, quite low, not going to land the hook. Immortality also expended. The lined up shot not going to hit here, but Omega got what they wanted. as they now make a beeline to the Lord.
This is the late game condition that Omega has. We're talking about how they're really playing it passively early game. Now this counts out the burst on how Stome and Keller works well.
Yeah.
Now at this point in time, NXPE needs to have a lot of armor and sustain coming from Yelly Haze.
He's gonna have Divine Judgment in view here for Miko. We don't have any flicker from Brusco DR, so this is gonna become a problem here for NXPE. Ding, however, can sit on the back line. But Smart Omega, they're playing it smart. They're playing it carefully. No pun intended, by the way. And the thing is, it's
5 out of 5.
It's still hard for NXPE to fight because the damage output from Stone has been detrimental with to Smart Omega's victory in these skirmishes.
Double
Conceal to
Conceal's
conceal.
coming out. They get it locked down on the roam, and they're going at it. Final Slash comes out too. Lord still going to be worked on. Renzio taking a couple hits with the spin wheels. No connection though. Ryzen in trouble here. Thorn Rose Phantom Execution out of there. And Lord resets. And with everything, it's only Miko that falls.
Yeah, unfortunately for Miko, he didn't have any version of Cult Altar, no immortality whatsoever. But man, this is getting harder for NXP to fight into because they felt the full damage of Stone's Feathered Airstrike, like 4 hits fell onto NXPE. And even though you have Sustain, you have Cult Altar, you have to be worried about the fact that if you don't catch this Barca, damage is not going to be a problem for Smart Omega. Positioning is everything for both teams. NXPE, they are the ones who are in the driver's seat in terms of that factor because they have the initiators on the form of Brusco.
Oh, ding! Brusco goes in again with a bloody hunt. They find Stone this time. Renzio in the backside takes quite a bit of damage himself, has to back off. Still has that immortality. Lord, though, looking like it's going to go in the hands of NXPE. Brusco gets sniped down.
16K
Still
Lord.
holding on. There's a Stampede. The Final Slash as well. It's Kelra finding another kill. But he gets a Praiser's Wrath. Ryzen down. Kelra on the run.
Taunt.
Gets taunted, knocked up here. Unleashing, can't escape Domeng. Now Renzio chasing Domeng here. Going to try to get between the walls. Has the immortality. The team here to help him out. Renzio as well. Domeng unleashing the best he can. Has to survive. It's 3 down for Omega.
Yell Haze, is it going to be enough damage? Nah. And NXPE, they win that fight. Smart Omega, even though they lost the Farsa, they were still able to hold on for so long. And Keller was able to output so much damage. But again, this is a late game already for NXPE. Domeng with the carry, with the true damage and the shurikens, it hurts for Smart Omega.
Because of the mobility of Smart Omega has with Renzio and Joy, I just gotta say, and to go back to your word, Midnight, catch. Who do you catch among the barangay? Look at this fight. Look at the replay brought to you by Infinix.
Yeah, they started the fight right. They caught the proper target, which is Stone. So they didn't have any feathered airstrike on that fight. But that catch from Kelra with the Renner's Apathy really did cement. Oh,
all right, they get the Purify out. They're going to lose the turret here. Lord also on the bottom side. They're going to work on this. NXP couldn't look to punch this game in. They've got everything they need. Omega trying to hold the line. Miko with the conceal. Possibly looking for a target here. Eyes going to jump in again. There's the Cult Altar as well. Extending the fight. Renzio falls. Another
Minions.
focused here. Yelly Haze with the pole. Kelra trying to hold down the line.
Look at the
Hellstorm does fall. NXP still going to be fighting for it. A couple hits from the base, but Domeng finds Kelra.
The waves.
That's it. They focus on the crystal. NXPE takes game number 1.
wow. Commitment is really